This is Jackie.
And this is Heather.
And welcome to
Millennial Mom Chatter, your go-to podcast for candid conversations and fresh perspectives.
We're just two millennial moms navigating life one hilarious audio message at a time. Join us for laughs, adventures, and real talk.
Hi, and welcome back, guys. We have been trying to figure out how to start the podcast because we are so over the hi and welcome back to Millennial Mom Chatter. But it's also weird to just like, hi.
Yeah, to like just jump into
you?
something and we're like, what's the appropriate way that we like say hi to you guys?
Yeah. So welcome back,
Yeah.
guys. How are you doing? For real?
For
though?
real, I'm doing fine. Yeah,
For real.
everything's fine. Nothing to complain about. We're on the downhill, guys. Like it's spring. We're riding into summer break and I'm here for it. Like I'm ready for
Yes.
those lazy mornings and not having to pack lunches and like no stress of homework. So all's good. What about you?
Same. I'm good. Nothing new, I don't think. I'm excited too. Jax was like, I want to go to summer camp. And I'm like, I want to sleep.
Yeah, right? To like commit yourself because you have to pay for summer camp. So it's like you have to commit to like then waking up early just like you would a school day. So I'm just like,
I know. I'm torn, right? Because I want it to be like summer and feel like summer
Yes.
where I'm not like waking up and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I like that they're like busy.
Yes.
So I'm like, the only reason why I'm extra torn about it is because we're only going to be able to do like the June session if we do choose to do it. And it starts like June 2nd.
I know
something.
it's
I'm
like immediately
bro, there's
after.
no-
Yeah, they basically get no summer break because Liam's asked for that as well. He's like, I really want to go to summer camp. And does your school offer it part time, like where you can choose then when you send the kids?
You can choose sessions.
Okay.
So it'll be
First
like
half, later half.
It'd be
Yeah.
June. Yeah.
So I'm just like,
It's
dang.
split up in June, July,
Yeah.
August.
So ours is set up where you can do 3 days versus 5 days. So Liam's like, can I do like 3 days a week?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's
that's
not
not bad. But then that means I have to do your brother. I'm not going to like commit to just half. Like then I'm still dragging a kid around with me and like still waking up in the morning to go someplace. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just so hard. Cause then also selfishly, I want to have the flexibility to just go on trips whenever I want. So there's that part. Like,
yeah. The 3 days a week is nice though, because then you could still probably keep your like gym
Yep.
routine and stuff. Like, are you teaching your classes? in the summer?
that's the plan. Last summer, a lot of us girls would just bring the kids to the gym. So they do have Wi-Fi at the gym, and then I just put the boys in the corner. So obviously that's not ideal. It's not really my preferred choice of what to do with
Summer
them.
camp.
Yeah, so I really need to like kind of figure out what we're going to do with the summer and if it's
Yeah.
worth putting them into something. So I don't know. It's hard.
If it's not like crazy expensive, then I think it's worth it.
I mean, it's
give you
still
your
around
time.
$1,000, which is kind of a lot of money, even though they're gone all day and they
Yeah.
get food and they get a shirt and they go on field trips and they go do things, like everything's paid for. It's
still a
still
lot.
like a whole cruise. So I'm torn. I'm like, that's a lot of money that could go to like some really fun stuff. Like,
You're like, my peas.
yeah, like,
And then it's like hard because like you said, it's like, I think of it too. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot
Yeah.
of money of something. But then at the same time, I'm like, but they're doing everything there.
Yes.
And then I don't have to pay for the like taking in the movies.
like
and
when they
doing
go on a
other
field trip to a
things. So
museum,
I'm like,
that's already like paid for versus
Yeah.
me driving. So it is really nice. I haven't quite committed, and it's
this is your vacation this summer,
yeah.
guys.
So you guys don't want to go
Summer camp.
anywhere, then you can go ahead and stay local and go to school every day. Have fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jax is the only one that wants
oh really?
to go, so I'll have my other
You
two
don't think that
kids,
Callie would jump on board if Jax is doing it too, like for funsies? Like
I don't
Yeah.
know. She's definitely like a Rylan where she's like, no.
she'd rather like just have the chill time at home and just do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
So it actually would make my life easy because then it's like maybe not a whole school, like full school
Yeah.
morning with all the
yeah.
kids. Because Rylan can't even attend because he's in middle
Oh, they
school.
don't offer it for middle schoolers. They just think that like, so parents who work would just keep their
Now you
kid
can
home
stay home
alone.
alone. I don't know.
Dang. Okay. Well, I get that,
mean-
but it's also just kind of crazy because then if you have your younger siblings in summer camp, you'd almost want them to have that stimulation of being someplace fun as well. So it almost is like you sit at home and do nothing all day but watch TV, but your siblings are going to go have fun. They're going to have water day. They're going to go have like a fun pool
Yeah.
day and go to the museum, but you get to sit at home and do nothing. So
That's the thing is like I'm so torn about summer camp because it really does keep them moving
Yeah.
and active. And so I'm like,
I know. So listeners, let us know. Like, what are you guys doing? Is it worth it? Is it going to cramp our style for like, committing to a whole month of like still having a school schedule of like waking up, getting them out the door? Or is it worth all of that? Like, is it worth the money and the time and effort it takes to get out the door? Like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You guys will know. You'll hear here in a couple months, like if we did summer camp or not.
Yeah. I woke up at 7 this morning. It is a little more lax though, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like it starts a little later, right?
And then you also don't have, not everybody is doing it, so there's like less traffic too. So everything that makes like school drop off annoying in the morning doesn't exist during summer. I feel like it's like everything's way more relaxed. And it's fun. They want to go. And so it's not like they're like, it's not like a Wednesday when they have a big test and they're like, nah, I don't want to go. So
that's the problem. And homework for me, that's like what the dream is this
Yeah,
summer.
exactly. Because it just frees up the whole day, like to not have anything that you need to be doing. So summer's the best.
I know. And I'm excited we don't go on our trip till like almost right until July. So last week of June.
Oh, dang. Yep.
So
Yep.
we got to wait.
Something to look forward to. So even if you do end up doing the summer camp, it's still like a vacation is coming. So it's not like the whole summer's gone, which is nice. Because then it just makes the time go by fast.
Like, why don't we just go and spend time with Gookie and Jackie?
Yeah.
This summer. That's what he said. He said, why don't we just go up there for a few weeks and
exactly.
hang out with them?
That sounds great. That's what we're planning. Okay. So that's the plan.
Which I'm honestly, depending on what you guys' schedule is, I'm honestly thinking of potentially doing that again. The same thing I did where I just drive up by myself.
Yeah. Yep.
And then
I mean, honestly, it sounds like because both of our husbands, they are more limited on how much time they can take off. Obviously, like normal jobs, like they can't just take the whole summer break off. So our dilemma is like, how do we have fun and go on vacations if you guys can't take time off work? So we're like, fine, we'll just make it happen without you.
Yeah. And we just make it like something chill.
Yes.
That's like, they're not too.
So it's not expensive. It's not, not to make them envious. Like it's totally fine. It'll be fun. But it's great for the kids. It gives us like an adventure to do something and then it'll still feel like a vacation. So
really, is our just kids entertain each other?
Exactly.
And then we entertain each other.
So,
which did you see? I sent her a reel that it was so funny because we've always talked about like if we were widowed or like something happened that we would just like end up doing life together. And we saw a reel that like these two, women got divorced, both of them at the same time, and they just moved in with each other and like did life together.
And they have school-age kids.
Yes.
Like, and they're just hanging out, living their best lives.
That is like in that situation, I feel like that is the dream because they're both going through the same thing. They both have a support system. Their kids are like now just got like siblings and now but they're like friends. So it's cool. And like, can you get any better than that?
And they're sharing all the responsibilities. Like if you're cooking dinner, it's only one mom having to cook the dinner and they can share like the workload of like the dishes and the laundry and like, hey, like my kid's already sitting down to do homework. Hey, why don't you guys also sit down and do the homework? So I just feel like everything is just so like chill, taken care of, but at the same time fun. Because you're with the people that you want to hang out with. So I'm just like, wow, what a wonderful world. Like,
yeah, the people in the comments were like, I bet you're fed and dishes are like put away and kitchen's clean and house is clean before you guys go to bed. And they're like, yep.
Everything gets done because there's a whole system. Like every mom's like the same. Like,
yeah, it's like think like one person drops off in the morning, the other one like
and you could work like if you wanted to have jobs, your own kind of like life, you could still maintain.
You're definitely gonna have jobs because now.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like even if you had conflicting schedules, you almost don't even have to like worry about like what's happening to the kids. You could be like, hey, I'm doing drop off because these are my hours, and you're doing pickup because these are your hours, or like, hey, how can we navigate this? Like, let's get all the kids' dentist appointments scheduled together so we don't have to make 5 trips. Like, I feel like it's really cool. Like, it just seems like such an effective system. So if you guys are contemplating, what do you do at this era of your life? Like, just go find your best friend and literally like get a big house together and make it work. Yeah. Get a room with a bunch of bunk beds, let the kids all figure it out, and then everyone's just going to be happy.
Yeah. I don't think we've talked about it to that extent. We've talked about it like if the world's ending, where are we going and leaving our husbands to finish working?
We're like, we're going to be over here in a safe place. Let us know when we can come back or if you guys need to meet us where we're at. Like,
exactly. Yeah. So we'll do that. So we've talked about that and we've talked about being like older ladies.
So the kids would be out of the picture. And that would just be like,
and then we would just live on a cruise
because honestly,
ship.
we would just be like living our best lives at that point. Then we don't have to worry about like big house, school drop off, and dishes. Like that's out of the question. questions. So that would be super nice.
Which we don't want our husbands to pass.
No, for the listeners who are about to
not
rip us
worse.
apart, like we love our husbands. They are incredible men, and we want
wanna
them
be
to
living
be
with
with
them.
us for a very long time. Okay, so nothing's happening to them. They're fine. They're
But
healthy
if
today.
we landed in a situation, we would just share the rent. You know what I mean?
Why have all that burden on a single parent when you can share and divide and conquer, like, and just do all the things?
Or be old ladies and share and pay less.
I 100%. I'm here for
on
it.
our land with our goats.
Yeah,
In
but it doesn't
Utah.
even matter because we're just gonna be on a cruise ship all the time. So
I know. I saw this couple that like I don't remember what. I don't know if it's like an American base. I honestly didn't look into it. It was like a very old style, almost like it wasn't a riverboat, but almost like looked like one. And it was this couple that like bought a room on that ship. And they have it for like 15 years.
I think I've seen stuff like this before. And then they just have a P.O. box somewhere for like responsibilities.
Yeah, it'll like during the 15 years, I think it like will circumference the world like 4 or 5 times.
That's incredible.
And I was like
that's like a really
can
cool
meet
thing to do.
whenever you want.
Exactly. So you don't have to like stay committed to it. So if you have like a child getting married or having a baby, you can get off, go do that for a couple weeks, and then go meet the ship at the next port wherever you want to get back on because you have your set room. So I feel like that's really cool. To be in that financial bracket of life, to have that is super nice. Like
for sure. Yeah, I heard it actually wasn't that expensive. I need to look into it. It sounds like a nightmare for some people. For us, we're like,
no,
this
it sounds
so
great.
fun.
I think I saw it. I don't know if it was the same couple, but I did see someone where they basically sold their house and that's how they afforded it. So they took, the money from selling their house and their cars, and all they have is a P.O. box like near some major city where their family is. And then they just have all their money basically invested into having this cabin on the ship. And I was like, okay, so that doesn't sound bad. Like,
no, I still would want a home base for sure. But I think it sounds fun.
I think so too.
I mean, I think people think of cruise ships also like you're in this like you're eating at a buffet every day and you're doing this and that. But like when you live somewhere like that, you're going to be like in a routine.
Yes. And also those types of ships
like,
also when they do the world excursions and stuff, you're not sitting at the buffet. Like that's not what your trip is about. You're going to go see new places. You're kind of like honing in on like activities that you truly want to do as a person. And it's not all about like, the traditional cruise mentality of like buffets, shows, and, water slides.
Or being in a rush, like, you feel like you have to go to every show, whereas, like, you might just, like, lounge in your bed all day watching Netflix, and that's fine. Like, you would have.
No, for sure. I feel like that's
or you go to the gym. Like, you have your routine, Like, you probably would still have the routine where you sit down at night and you watch your shows, where, like, on a ship, on a normal, like, style vacation, you're, like, probably not doing that, I don't do that, at least.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I usually come back to, like, so many shows because we don't watch like TV while we're on vacation.
No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, also TV on cruise ships sucks. So no one's staying in the cabin watching TV. So I feel like you're there for literally filling your entire day with all of the activities and, game shows and all the things. So I think it would be a lot different if someone lived on a ship.
So do we think this cruise that's happening that people live on?
Oh, interesting.
Is this just like a sea of like,
just swinging everybody
that happens that people joke about on all the cruise
that's like the
ships
joke. I don't know, because I just think of like, for instance, that couple, they were more like the retirement
You're like
vibe.
not Bob
Yeah,
and Martha.
exactly. That's what my initial thought is. Just usually these retirees are not like Bob and Martha are like back
That's
in
what
their
we
room
think.
reading and settling down for like bedtime at 9. So I just don't see that, but I could be totally wrong here. Bob and Martha are probably the leaders. Everyone's like, who are Bob and Martha?
They made sure they had the big enough room.
They picked the suite on purpose.
No, I always am on cruise ships like,
who is it? I'm constantly, I want to find this, like the upside down pineapple crew. Like I want to find them just because I feel like I've never seen it in real life. Like people talk about it, but I've just never seen anyone knocking on the door and just being like, hey, like, so I'm just like, where are they coming out of the woodwork? Like it exists, but where are they? Like,
we've talked about this before of like, you're on a cruise ship and this whole like swinging thing that everyone talks about on cruise ships. Like how does this
Yeah.
happen? You know, like, do you just knock on the door and you're like, I hope they're kids,
Right? Like,
how
it's
does
like
it
a judgment,
happen?
like an initial just visual judgment where you open the door and you're like, you check them up and down and it's like, no. And then you shut the door. Or is it like, come on in? Like anybody's invited. Like, and then they always say too that it's like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's couples. So then you have just maybe like one individual who comes in and then maybe not both partners take act, you know, and then
Yeah.
one sits and just spectates and the other participates. And I'm just like, what? Like, how do they decide? I just feel like it's so much that I want to unpack.
And everyone has different
Yeah.
rules, like for their
Yeah.
swinging. And I'm just like, I don't understand.
But I think it's just
there's only-
interesting because it's so non-traditional that I think it's interesting. Like, where I'm like, how do you guys do it? How do you keep it, like you said, like,
Oh, I want to know.
yeah,
all the
like, how do you
details.
keep it balanced? Like, when you say who's doing what, like, how do you have that conversation? Like, what did you guys do to determine that? Like, that neither party's getting hurt or whatever, like,
Yeah.
or determining who you want to, like, take action with. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah, or you're like, okay, we swing, but like the wife is attractive, and then like the wife is like, I don't think the husband's attractive. Like, what do you
so
do?
then it's like, I don't wanna. And then it's like no go, or is it then like selfishly only the two take part, and then the other two are just stuck
don't
sitting
know.
there, and you're like, not interested. Sorry.
I don't want to be a fly on the
No,
wall per se.
no.
Like during it, I want to be on a fly on the wall. Like, how do we get here?
The initial, just, you know, the conversation at the bar that then escalates to the door knock on the door. Like, what is that? What's the preliminary
How does-
screening?
yeah,
like, how do we
yeah,
get
like,
here?
How? I don't know. You're just at the bar and you're just like, so like, do you
Yeah.
like, are they just able to identify each
That's
other?
what I mean. I
Like,
don't know.
what's
That's
the-
why. So, listeners, if you are involved, you can come slide into our DMs anonymously and break this down for us. Educate us. Like,
Yeah. How do swinging situations
Yeah.
happen? Like in public places, like a cruise or things like that. Like the upside down pineapple. How does it start? Like, do you just commit to knocking the door? Like whoever
yeah,
opens
which
the
is
door?
so brave, honestly.
Or do you say like you knock and then they open and you're like, yeah, it's not for us.
Have a good night. All right. Well, you may have seen on our social media that we put out a request for you viewers and listeners to go ahead and send us DMs and comments with your most cringy, cheesy, gossip-filled, juicy stories that maybe you know someone who this has been affected by, or yourself, like an ex-boyfriend or anything like that. So we did have a couple viewers respond, and so we went and randomly kind of picked one so we could kind of like talk about it together here on the podcast.
Are you talking about the city of Miami fire rescue with all the drama? No, I'm joking.
The real life drama that we
Plenty
know
there.
about.
The real
Yeah, so
life
these are,
drama.
just so you guys know, if you're also interested in submitting some fun, juicy stories for us, we do approach these anonymously. So if you DM us, we do not reveal real names or locations or ages or anything like that. So you can feel
No
comfortable.
judgment
Yeah, no
either.
judgment. This is a judgment-free zone, and we're just coming in for fun and like just diving into the cheese. So
Me and Jackie love
Yeah,
some
we do.
cheese. every time something happens, like, Jackie, you want to hear the
Yeah.
cheese? Okay, so this one says, I have a crazy ex-boyfriend story. My ex-boyfriend from about 2 years ago traveled a lot for hockey. One day he came home and his neck was all bruised up, clearly hickeys. When I asked him, he said him and his dad have a disorder where bug bites turn into bruises, and he got a bunch while he was traveling. I believed him and stayed with him for a whole year after that. When all of a sudden, it turns out he cheated on me with 37 girls. And I know that because he kept a list of them in his phone. Not by name, but by hair color, boob size, and how fast he finished.
Jeez.
Needless to say, I'm never going to be that gullible again.
Well, there's a
Okay.
lesson. We learned a lesson. I love that for her, though. Like,
Right? But so this is where, like, it's one thing you cheat, but it even gives me the more ick. The fact that you have now placed them in your phone with that information. I would just be like,
I know the list is pretty cringe. It's not stuff that I would think men would categorize us by, but the way that he specified these women is very cringe. Like, it's not like cute stuff. Like,
yeah.
ugh.
Like, is the how fast he finishes because, like, if he finished fast, like that was like the rating of like how hot
Yeah,
she
like
was?
how good it was.
What was the point of that information?
No, I would think it's just like how good it was, right? But also, when you're with this many women, obviously he has a girlfriend. He's messing around with a bunch of girls. This is purely one night stand perspective. So I just, all of it is just so gross.
It really is. It really is. And so how do you feel about like, okay, it obviously sucks that you're cheated on to begin with, right? But it's like so much more worse when like it's a list.
Yeah.
Like how do you,
I know.
Like that's such an
Yeah. To like think, okay, it sucks to if he did fool around with one girl, right? Like every girl, but oh gosh, like what a mess. But then to know that, like you said, a whole entire list of women, like more than a baker's dozen, more than like a full, what is that, a basketball team? Like it's a lot of people. So it's just kind of scary.
More than a basketball
and
team.
also that's a lot of time too. We're like,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time to have been with that many women. So I'm just like,
That's almost one a week in a year.
that's a mess. I feel bad for her because that's like,
I
it
know.
kind of ruins your trust from every relationship.
For sure.
Now. Like, how do you trust a guy if he has to
sure.
leave for work or like you said, like he's going to a hockey game? Like, I honestly be like, you're never going to a sporting event because this is what my ex did. And it sounds so toxic and
like,
unhealthy. That's
what if
sad.
your boyfriend or husband really does have a bruise and it's like a legit bruise and you're just like, I don't know now.
Show me your phone. Let me see this list.
Could you marry or date somebody that had a list of other partners?
No, I don't. But I don't. It depends on what the list is about. Like, I feel like this
What if
list.
it's just their
If
names
it's just a
and
list
it's like
of names,
25,
I feel like
30?
I don't know. That's such a teenage boy thing. So I feel like out of immaturity, I don't think it's like a red flag because I feel like a lot of young men. Like they praise themselves on being like, yeah, I got the girl. Like I got 6 girls. Like this is how many girls I banged in high school. This is how many girls I banged in college.
Yeah.
Like it's like a pride thing for them. So I don't initially think that's a red flag. If this continued into like adult maturehood, it is a bit of a red because it's like, why does that matter? Like what's the point here? Like if you're trying to create genuine relationships that blossom into marriage, like why do we need to have a list? But all that stuff that he had, definitely red flags.
Oh yeah. There was this couple on 90 Day Fiance that I want to say it was like 2,500, and I believe it. Like you see him and you're just like 100% you would do this. Like he's also like in his 40s and he's never been married. He's always been a player, never in a relationship. So like he has time to do all of this, you know? And he has a whole book.
Oh my gosh.
Of them. And he has them highlighted based on their ratings. Like
okay, so I've never seen this. Is this a more recent season of 90 Day Fiance?
Yeah, I would say so. His name's Sarper.
Okay, because it's like, is he obviously he has like if he's not settled down into a serious
now he's settled down because with this girl.
Oh, okay.
But prior to this, he never really has settled down. He's just always been like
something's wrong with him. Like I don't. Like I don't.
No, there's 100%. If you've seen him, you're like
I'm suspicious.
This guy's an idiot. I will say he's getting better. I think he's actually kind of coming into himself like as a like adult.
Okay, because I was gonna ask like obviously like
society.
if he's still keeping this list into his 30s and turning 40, then there's a red flag. Like there's an underlying issue
like,
going on here that's not allowing him to settle down and like not.
Well, so he also kept all of the bottles of liquor that he would drink with these girls in his house in his cabinet. And so this chick was like, if you're serious about me, you're going to burn the book and you're going to smash all of those bottles. And so it took him a while to smash the bottles. He did burn the book, but he eventually like took her to like a place and he was like, I want you to smash them with me. Like be angry.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. That's fine. Like as a date, like smash the bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just like, I just couldn't be with somebody like that.
No, I
would see that and I'd be like, red flag, bye.
Well, yeah, because there's an underlying issue. Like something's going
like,
on with this guy. Like,
and it's like their morals would not align with me at all.
But also just like keeping
you're
the bottles.
highlighting the ratings.
Yeah. It's he's missing. We're going to psychologically break this down. He's damaged and missing something psychologically that he has to fill that void with this number, the highlighting marks, the bottles, like, cause it's like a trophy for him of like, I may suck in these departments, but look at me, look at this number, look at all these girls. Like that's what he has. That's the only trophy that he has. So it's like, There's some psychological stuff they need to like break down to make that a healthy relationship. Oh.
Red flag,
red
guys.
flag.
If you have somebody,
Especially if you're with
does
somebody
any
right
of
now.
this, you're like, break up.
It's your husband and he still has a list in his phone. Delete. Like,
yeah. That is a even bigger red flag.
If he's not moved on.
Like if you've married, I feel like if you're married and have the list.
But why do you have it? So that's the flag. That's the issue.
I would burn it myself. I wouldn't even tell him. I wouldn't ask him. I would literally like.
But the thing is, he probably doesn't even know that he still has. Let's be real. Like husbands today probably wouldn't even know. Like we'd be going through their stuff looking for this list, and they'd be like, "Didn't even know that existed." Like I thought I threw that away when I was 18.
And if you have, and then if you have to have a list, it's too many.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, it's a pride thing. I think this is like a man thing because if you ask a girl, I don't think girls don't make lists. At least in my friend circle.
There's definitely girls that
really?
make lists.
I just feel like in my friend circle, I feel like we didn't talk like that. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, like,
people that make
what's your
lists.
list? Show me your list. Like, it wasn't, I just feel like it wasn't like as talked about as like a guy keeping tabs. Like,
no, I know people that keep lists.
Okay. Well, maybe they have red flag qualities.
No shade.
Just as much as like these guys. They probably have the same situation going on as the guy does, though. Like there's an empty void.
I honestly don't know what
filling.
it is. I've never asked this. Like I've never asked these people.
There's something they're longing for something. The list gives them satisfaction and pride. Their number, if they're having cool encounters or whatever they're having from these relationships.
What do you think? Like, it's just like it's so much that you're like, oh, I'll eventually forget. But like, why do you still need to remember if you forgot?
I don't know. I think it's you've already done it. Like you've already made the list. Like why would you throw it away? I guess is like why if you're not settled down and married and you're still working on it. Like I guess in their mind they're like I'm just still working away. Like I don't know. Like satisfaction.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know either. But I love all the cheese. So if you have any cool stories, let us
keep
know
it coming
and drop them in. It'll be confidential. We will not judge. Okay, on to lighter topics. Okay, have you seen the whole? So you know how Katy Perry went to space, and I don't even know who else went. I honestly don't even know.
Gail, Oprah's best friend.
But that's all. That's
no,
the only two
you
people
do
I
know Jeff Bezos' fiance. She was on there too.
Oh, I don't know who she is.
You've seen her at stuff. She's on TV a bunch nowadays. But basically, because that's her fiance, she got a ticket. And then the two other people.
Okay. Did people pay for these tickets?
So it's interesting because I don't know about her because obviously if her fiance is Bezos, that's his company. I don't know if he was like, babe, pay up. Like she probably just gave her the seat. Katy Perry paid. I'm assuming Gail paid. And then one of them is like a scientist and the other one is a rights activist. So I'm assuming they paid because they're kind of normal. They're not like celebrities who would just have a ticket handed to them. I had initially read that the holding spot fee was $150,000. And then the initial Blue Origin flight, one of the first ones, they auctioned off a ticket, like a seat, and it was $28 million. So I don't know. We don't have like a solid cost at how much each ticket costs. So.
Oh my God. $28 million.
That was the auction for a seat. So like obviously that's an inflated number.
How many houses they could have paid off?
Even the $150,000 holding fee, that's a lot of money. Yeah. That just got just to hold the seat.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, so the controversy is, did they go up? Because the controversy, I think, is what's stemming around it is there's no video of them going up. It's just when they're in that little their whatever minute or two they have. Whereas who was it? Jeff Bezos. Who was the other one?
This was the 11th one. So all 10 other ones.
What was the one that was streamed though? You see the whole process of them going up.
I feel like there was video footage of this one though. Like they showed something because even on the news it showed the light of them at the top of our atmosphere, where you can see the light.
No, the video in the
in the pod.
Thing. Yeah. It's just at the top. And so I'm curious because I didn't obviously, you know me, I love conspiracy theories, but I didn't start this. I didn't even think in my mind, oh, this could be fake. But apparently people are lining everything up and they think it's fake. And I'm like, Is it fake?
But I don't know. I guess for me personally, I don't know what the benefit of this being faked was. Because none of the people that were in this one, of the women, none of them are like, they're not political or like, none of them had anything to like, hey, this is my position on something and I want this.
Yeah.
Because like Katy Perry's kind of just been in the back for a little while. You know, she has this upcoming album launch that she used with the launch yesterday or when it happened. So I just don't know. And then Bezos's fiance, like she's a reporter. So it's like, what do any of them gain from doing this? Like, so I don't know. Like,
the only thing I think of is they get people to like want to do it is by being like, look, all these people went up and it's safe and it's whatever. But the other thing was like they didn't have any, like they didn't go up with any professionals like in the other ones apparently. These are things I'm reading, not like that I know of. They didn't go like usually they always send a doctor and somebody else up in it. In case something goes wrong. They always take vitals in the other ones. No one took vitals apparently on this one, like when they were filming, like when they got out and all that kind of stuff. And apparently it landed supposedly like 25 or 30 miles. I don't know. It was more than that. I don't remember what miles it landed. But like they were like they could have, how they came in I guess was like kind of hot. And so they're like somebody would have been like not injured but like
shaken up.
Thrown around or shaken up or anything like that. And everyone came out just like, oh.
You didn't like Katy Perry kissing the ground? She was gone for a whole 11 minutes, Heather.
It's not even Katy Perry, like the kissing the ground for me. It was her whole interview that I was like.
All of them, though.
She looked high as a kite. She's like, it was just so. I'm like, what are you saying?
No, same with Bezos's fiance. When they interviewed her, she was like, the world just looked so quiet. And everyone's like, what do you mean? And then she said, I could see the moon. It was full. And everyone's like, yeah, we can see that from Earth too. Like, we've seen a full moon before.
Yeah.
So like all of them were very just like, oh yeah, this is euphoric, like to be in space. Like,
no, it definitely is for sure. But I don't think that would be my reaction. Would just be like, I just thought that it was amazing. You'd be like, oh my God, that was like cool.
Bring that microphone. I muted myself. I was like, oh my God, let me tell you.
She got so excited, she just muted herself.
I know, but that's what it would be like. It would just be like, you couldn't get that microphone out of my hand. Like, I'd be like, let me tell you about everything that just happened up there.
It is not a flat Earth, guys. I think so. I think there's just a lot of things that maybe have been done differently. Yep. Their reactions, the lack of things that like were done on other things that were not done on this. So
is that what we're speculating? Is that like this launch, number 11, was fake, but the other 10 are real?
People are thinking. I don't know. We need to find out.
That's what's confusing me is like, I don't get what the goal would be for 11 to be fake and the first 10 to not be.
The last few, I don't think have ever been aired.
No, you can find all their stuff online. Like, because I went into
I'm saying like it's not a big deal.
No, because they weren't celebrities. That's like the other sad part is a lot of people said that. They questioned that. They're like, well, why did we never see anything about the other 10 like launches? Yeah. And they're like, because they weren't celebrities. They were rich people and scientists and people who wanted to explore. So they're not names. They're not household names. Like, we don't care about them. So that's the sad part. Like, you can find them. Like, if you look up the other launches, like you'll find the biographies of all of these people, all of these really great scientists and people who've put in a lot of effort to be on these like little rockets. But I don't know why this one's like, a lot of people I think are ripping it apart too, because they're like, cool, our America's kind of like not hot right now. And we're just like sending celebrities into space for 11 minutes. And we're like, ugh, the optics just don't look good. So I think it's easy.
The government's not paying for it.
No, they're paying for it themselves, but it's like, it's just, we're putting a lot of attention on it. So it's like when there's a lot of real things that are happening on the ground and yet celebrities are just like, it's just a little, I don't know. We're a little desensitized for them to just go ahead and drop a bunch of money, hop onto a rocket ship. We gave them a lot of attention for it.
It feels very submarine vibes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
We're like, how much did they pay? $150,000 to die?
Yeah.
A ticket?
We talked about that in a previous episode if you want more details on that.
I paid $150,000 to just combust.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that one was sad though, because we've talked about that. That's not, there wasn't celebrities like Katy Perry and, people.
No, but it was rich, wealthy people. And it was just mind blowing. You know, we still talk about this today that they went down there with the
PlayStation controller.
Yeah. Like, that's just, the second I see that, I'd be like, nope.
Yeah.
Done. No. Can you imagine that's how they launched this
Probably.
thing with some kind of little PlayStation?
The robotics and engineering that they have available to them today. I mean, that thing, the rocket itself is pretty mind-blowing, the technology-wise on it. So it's just like...
do they remake this, or is this the same one they always use?
I think they're different ones. Because they have like different names, like different like little cute names for them. So I think it's kind of like...
So you make a new one every time you go up?
I don't know. I don't know specifically. I just know that they have like different things. Like I don't know if it's like they really do make an entirely new one, or if they just use the same one each time and then they just rename the mission with like the same pod.
The mission.
Like, that's the other thing that I
can't... The mission of rich people seeing
So a lot of people are also kind of ripping this apart too, because they're like, does this qualify as space? And so a lot of people are kind of like, it does, because it technically does leave the Earth's atmosphere.
You're not an astronaut, okay? But you're not an astronaut.
No, and but it like, technically like they did go past what we qualify as space. Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like if people are hung up on that, like we've already gotten past that. Because what do they say it is Kármán is 62 miles above sea level. So they did that. So they went to space technically. Are they astronauts? No, I'm not going to give them that title.
No.
I don't think this launched women into STEM and space. I don't think this did any. This isn't a leap for women at all.
No. No, Earth is poor.
Yeah, exactly. We just burned a little bit more of our ozone and we wasted some more money, but it's fine. What does it matter?
What is the price tag that you would pay to like go see space?
I am interested in space. So I would love to hop on a rocket and fly to space. But this, I don't know if I'd be paying millions of dollars to like go leave the atmosphere
but
for
like
6
what would be your
minutes.
number that you're like, that's expensive, but I'll pay
the $150,000 to like save my seat. I would pay that if I had a lot of money, like not obviously like now today.
No, like in your
in my current life like, right now,
in your current life in the next 20-30.
Okay, if I have no bills, it'd have to be like, honestly, it'd have to be under $100,000 for me to like want to book a seat.
Oh, I was thinking like my number maybe would be like 20,000.
Because it has to be realistic, right? I still have to pay for groceries. Like I can't just throw all of my money into this and then I come back to an empty house. The car's getting repoed. I mean, but I got to see. I got to see that moon.
For 1 minute.
So it's like, it had to be obviously a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't go with you.
Yeah, I think I would do it for 20,000.
20,000 is pretty good because you can bounce back from that. We can recover from 20.
You can get a cheap loan,
get a personal loan with like a high interest rate.
Half a car,
exactly.
Right?
We can afford that. That's fine. To have payments
I think I would
for
do like
$400 a month and just pay it off real fast.
Have you seen though? They say they're really advancing. I feel like we haven't gotten there yet. Like obviously now we're sending normal people to space, but like they keep saying like, you know, in 3 years we're gonna have a space hotel and you know, this many years we're gonna have an elevator to space. And I'm just thinking like, where's the progression happening?
We've talked about this before as well, and I love it because it's like we really anticipated we'd be in a different place today than we really truly are. Yeah. So I'm waiting for the elevator to space.
The space hotel is in like 2027 or 2028.
I know, and I'm like, where is
where?
Like, I haven't seen it on the book. I can't book it, so it doesn't exist.
Yeah, how are they going to get there? They can't even get our astronauts down for like a year. How are we going to get people down from the hotel?
They just have to do it the same way that they did with this Blue Origin, where you just like basically shoot up to it, jump out, you land on like something with like your oxygen thing, and then the capsule falls back down. That's it. That's the only way. We haven't figured out the way to get back to Earth yet, but this might be a plan. Yeah. We could use this technique and just
I don't know too much like the logistics of space, but I'm always like, what if they just go like a little too far and then you like get like sucked out, like you can't, like there's a spot where like you just float
like where
away.
all of our satellites are in orbit and they stay in our circle. So like if you go past that, like this is for man, what is it, what's our show, For All Mankind, and then you just get sucked out. You've gone
like
too far.
How much space do we have that's like you have some leeway to not just go out into
It's got to be just the hotel. That's it. Just big enough for all of our satellites and our station, and then the hotel. That's it.
Yeah. Jeez. I mean, Rylan teaches me stuff about space all the time. He's like, yeah, Voyager and all those that like they launched in whatever the 70s are still going, and like they still like know where they are. And I'm like,
it's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
Like that stuff is just still circling around. Like,
no, it's not circling around. This one's like going to, it's trying to still go to another galaxy. So it was sent off in like the 70s. I could look it up. And it's still going. And it's still like, it's supposed to like possibly reach the next galaxy. I think Ryan said it in like 2070 something. And I'm like, how? And it's going at like hundreds of miles per hour. How?
I don't know. It's just, I think it's so cool.
Like space is endless. Yeah. Like literally endless. Like it's mind blowing. Like how little we are, like nothing.
Tiny specks, like not even dust particles in comparison to space. It's so cool. That's why Katy Perry wanted to get really up there.
Wild. Like, yeah. I would love to like, I would want to like be able to explore space. Also, I would love to be like Xenon and go out like with my little suit. That's very terrifying, but still like I would do it, I think.
For sure.
As long as other people had done it, like normal people.
Like you're the first
I just imagine like, I imagine I'm that person, like I go out my little string and like an asteroid just comes and
we've also seen too many space movies because that's like, I even thought that as soon as you said that, we're like, and then I'll just be out there. And it's always like that thing where like something happens and then just like slam against like the rope pulls.
That or like their cord just.
And then something comes through and just rips it and then they're just like, they get sucked out.
No, my favorite is they always have somebody with like an oxygen tank that's like
going like full throttle. Now we're just like shooting through like into a black hole that we didn't even know existed yet.
Okay, why do they make like they're always using some kind of canister to like launch them to that person like in every single, even in For All Mankind that was pretty realistic, they did that too.
Because they're like they didn't know because they would just like float away, so they needed something to like because remember they only had enough oxygen. I think that was the issue.
No,
so they needed to like get there fast.
Like, is this real life or did somebody make this up in the movie world?
I don't know. But to me, it was like logical. Like I was like, oh, there is no other way because they're about to run out of oxygen. Like if they float and hope that they make their way to them in time, like it's way too risky. They're gonna miss their shot.
100%. But like, do you just go and it just like pushes? I don't know. Like it just.
We need. So our next guest is gonna be a scientist. We're gonna get a NASA. Like someone who like specializes.
My cousin works for
NASA.
Then
we need to get them in here and like have them break this down for us. They're like, I just do admin, and we're like, no, tell us how they figure this out.
I know he works for a rocket launch. I mean, he works for NASA, but like, okay, I don't know actually. I mean, it's been quite a few years since we've talked about. I know he still works in the property of NASA. But I think he used to work for somebody that was like a third party company that did rockets and all that kind of stuff. But I think he officially works through NASA now. He's an engineer.
Okay. So we're going to pick his brain.
What he does. I don't know.
I know. It's always like those types of jobs where you're like, okay, cool. Tell me again. Like every year at Thanksgiving, you're like, tell me again what you do. Like,
yeah. I mean, his wife also works for NASA and she's an accountant.
Okay. So then we can't. She'd be fun to talk to, but not in the sense of.
I mean, I'm sure she knows a lot.
So it'd be like she's not the one that we want to like pick her brain on. Like, why are they using the boosters? Like,
why are they using oxygen bottles or like the fire extinguisher to be like, and it like blows them away?
And they like went too far. Like it didn't work out. They shot their shot and they missed.
It always saves them though every time.
Yep. And then you like get excited and then all of a sudden they're like, go without me, and then the asteroid like takes them out, and you're just like, dang it, like.
Yeah, they finally make it back, and there's like another
boom. And then the whole like right tip of the like the wing just breaks off. Like,
it's so funny, like the things we like are consistent across all movies. Yes. You're just like, where'd you get this from? Like, why is this a thing?
Yep. So good.
But
anyways. So catch us trying to go out in space. We're gonna be on the next Blue Origin.
for 20,000.
Yeah, whenever they
it's
have like a
20,000.
clearance sale, maybe like a Black Friday deal, we might be on that one. That'd be pretty cool. And we could podcast. I mean, it's not even enough time. They were only technically up there for 6 minutes, so it wouldn't be enough time to podcast, which is pretty sad. But
I heard the whole thing, launch, descending, and being up there was 10 minutes.
Yep,
or
less than 11 minutes. Yep.
So how long were they actually
6
up there?
minutes.
It wasn't like two. Oh,
Yeah. So the whole like
Okay.
ascent and descent was just a couple minutes.
Are only 2 minutes each?
It was because it's fast. They were like at full, they were like hundreds of miles per hour of like,
And they were just like sitting in there and like, we need to see video of this, Jackie. You know me, I love like, I don't necessarily think it's fake because like I saw this and was like, what? I didn't even think this could be fake.
Yeah.
You know, like I wasn't over here like, let me look this up. I think it was fake, you know? I was just like, oh, okay, cool. But then when people started saying it fake, I was like, oh, you know me. I would like love for it to turn out fake because it just is like.
yeah, the drama. Exactly. Because I just want to know why.
You know?
Like who did this benefit for them to fake being up there? Because they didn't do anything. So.
Jeff Bezos in his pockets.
Yeah,
to get
we're
other
here.
people to
I'm
go.
here
I
for it
don't know.
though. So when you guys start
And it was such an
unraveling,
odd group of people.
Yeah. But I just love that they kept pushing with the women thing, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah. First female
Like,
crew.
what?
Like as if they
Yeah,
launched.
like that they did anything. And I'm just like, what? Like
they were the captains.
yeah, they're astronauts now.
Driving.
Heather. Like they're legit.
Technically, I don't know what the definition of
No, they're
astronaut
not.
is,
That's
but I
the
think
joke
it
is that they're not technically astronauts. Everyone's
I'm
like,
saying-
no, that doesn't qualify.
What is the definition?
Because you can be an astronaut without having gone to space. Like, yeah, that's your job title at NASA.
Okay.
So like they are not like that's not them. Like we're not going to give them that credit. That's why you see a lot of articles where they're
No.
like, these women traveled to space, and then they like leave it at that. Keep saying crew too. They're like, they're not crew. They didn't do any work.
No, yeah, they didn't do anything. They just sat there, and they they faked it, and they actually then came out they came out from behind and were like, I want to know what film crew was there. That's what we need to know. Was it just their own?
Ooh.
And then they sold that footage to everyone else?
Who? Someone tell us.
We're gonna come back with details.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
think
look
this
into
just
guys.
happened. I feel like there's not a lot of information available to us. So we're going to find out. We're going to get the tea.
Yeah.
Because we're going to Texas and we're going to.
We're gonna go be
Yeah.
investigative
Live on the
reporters.
scene from West Texas.
Well, thanks for
Yes,
chatting.
it's always fun. Be sure to like, comment, and
We
subscribe. Yeah, we
spiraled.
did a little bit, but it's okay. It's always fun.
Yes, like, comment, subscribe, rate, do all the things, share with your friends, and yeah, we'll chat next week.
Bye.
Bye.